We know the Houston Texans offensive line is a really important part of 2025. They're talking the talk. When will they walk the walk? I'll tell you about it. Presented by my friends at The Perfect Jean. The best jeans that I've ever worn in my entire life. They're the most comfortable jeans. They're stretchy. They're breathable. You're getting a 15% off discount and free shipping. Use my link in the description down below. So the Houston Texans offensive line. Stop me if you've heard this one before. We're talking about the most important part of the offense for 2025. Actually, don't stop the video. I want you to keep watching because there's some good stuff in here. But the offensive line, through a few days of training camp, not in pads, it hadn't looked good. But that was to be expected. You've got 20 training camp practices and 3 preseason games to figure out who the 5 guys are that are going to protect C.J. Stroud, that are going to keep him upright, and the backups behind them, because inevitably you're going to need to play some of the backups. So you've still got a very long time to figure out who does what well. Can they do that with this other guy and then just figure out who those guys are? But there's been some rough moments in the early days of non-padded practice. The Texans haven't been able to get the ground game going very much. And look, that is something that definitely changes when the pads come on. But even now, the holes for the running backs are few and far between. So it hasn't been very consistent on the ground. And there's been some pass rush issues from time to time. Blake Fisher's had a really rough start. He stacked bad day after bad day after bad day, which is not good for Blake Fisher. But you've had some nice moments here and there from various offensive linemen. I actually think Titus Howard has been the best offensive lineman through the first few days of training camp, and he's been able to solidify his opportunity at that right guard spot, that starting guard spot for the Houston Texans. But Cam Robinson's had some nice moments. Ariante Ursary, the rookie tackle from Minnesota, has had some pretty nice moments. There's been a couple of combo moments where the guard and center work together to keep things safe. And then Saturday's practice, there was a moment, and I saw the vision. And it was like in a movie when the main character finally sees like what he's been searching for, or like in Pulp Fiction where they open the briefcase and you see it. And I saw it. And the 5 linemen, the tackles perfectly blocked the ends. The guards stood up those defensive tackles, and C.J. Stroud dropped back. And he let it rip over the middle. Christian Kirk, boom, right in the chest, takes off with it. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's chasing him. And I was like, there you go. That's something. That's one of the best reps they've had all of training camp so far. Then the defense kicked their ass for the next 2.5 team periods, but that's besides the point. Okay, that's besides the point. When the pads come on, they've got to walk the walk. But I like the way they've been talking the talk up to this point, because if you have an issue, you have to identify that you have an issue and then know that you're taking the steps to correct it. Physically, those steps are going to be hard to correct until they put the pads on and get some consistency going in the practices. But mentally, between the ears, the Texans had to identify they had an issue, which they did, making the wholesale changes that they did. And then they had to instill a new approach, a new direction to how they wanted to operate. Here's the new offensive line coach, Cole Popovich, promoted from assistant coach to the O-line coach. What exactly does he want out of his offensive line?
We really just want to have a tougher line that plays the game in a way that the whole team can kind of see there's a toughness established from our group there, right? We're not shying away from any kind of contact. And then, really the other thing would be just a smart group. Like, I don't want missed assignments. So that's like the biggest thing is we're trying to play clean football, trying to eliminate bad football, play very tough, be assignment sound, and I think we'll be okay if we do those things.
Far too often last year we saw assignments just go unmissed. How many times did Shaq Mason look like he had nobody to block? How many times did the assignment get assigned wrong and there was a free rusher to C.J. Stroud? Cole Popovich's system, Cole Popovich's coaching, Nick Caley's system, Cole Popovich's coaching, they have to eliminate that. They have to take care of that nasty element of the 2024 offensive line and make sure that is solid in 2025. And that creates a nice solid floor that you can work off of. And Titus Howard, who again, I thought has been one of the best offensive linemen up to this point for the Texans, he explained that sometimes we weren't taking the coaching the right way.
I know it sounds simple, but, a lot of times when guys mess up, it's just like we just go do our own thing versus not doing the thing that we was coached to do. So everybody just been putting their head down, working every day individual on the things we need to work on, and then just going out a team each day, setting a goal for the day, and just attacking that goal.
Now, Howard's not revealing anything that we didn't already speculate was the case with the Houston Texans because, well, we watched 2024 and they just had a tough time figuring out how to block people and block four rushers, much less a blitz, much less a stunt. My goodness, the stunts last year. But you can hear in the talk about the team that the mentality has changed. They have a different focus. They understand. Even Howard talking about what the offensive line wants to accomplish kind of got me excited about the mentality of this team.
In the run game, just being physical, and then the pass game just had a mentality that my man can't beat me to get to the quarterback. We got to protect CJ. The job we done last year wasn't good enough. So this year, we just got to put our head down and work all offseason to become the best unit possible and attack the little details so we can get him hit because we know what he can do when we protect him. So we just got to continue to do that.
Keep CJ Stroud upright. That's a great goal. That's a great goal. The offensive line felt like they didn't know that was the goal last year a couple of different times. And, well, it didn't go so well. And the offensive line is one of the reasons that 2024 season was held back. It can't be a reason in 2025. When do they walk the walk? We'll talk about it here in a minute after I tell you about my friends at The Perfect Gene. I got them on right now. They are so comfortable. Even in the hot Houston summers, they're breathable enough that I'm not totally sweating through everything that I own. They're stretchy, they're comfortable. Man, they're the best jeans ever. Tons of different styles, tons of different colors, and you get free exchanges and free returns. So order you a bunch of different things at the link in the description down below. You're going to get a discount, and then you're going to get free exchanges and free returns. Maybe you want to try the athletic fit and the boot cut jeans. Maybe you want a light blue and a dark pair of jeans and see which one looks better on you. You can do all that with The Perfect Gene. Free exchanges, free returns, 15% off when you use my link in the description down below. The best jeans I've ever worn. Get you a pair from my friends at The Perfect Gene. So when do they walk the walk? When do the Houston Texans show that there's something to get excited about with this offensive line? Well, it starts on Monday, and it will need to build from there. When the pads come on, that's when you truly start to assess offensive linemen. That's when you truly start to assess how well they have handled some of the issues that you've seen in the unpadded practices. How well do they work together? How well do they double team on the inside? How athletic does a guy look when he's getting out trying to go make a play? And that's really when the offense actually starts to run some plays. It's not just, hey, five guys, just go block the guy in front of you, open up the hole. No, there's movements, there's intricacies. You start to get a little bit deeper into what the system is going to be and how they want to operate as an offensive line. They've got to start showing things in padded practices. They can't be one of the reasons that the defense consistently gets wins in practice. That was part of the reason last year the defense continued to win in training camp. The offense needs some wins in training camp. They need some days where there's a high floor and it looks like there's a potential for a high ceiling, and the offensive line is where that's going to start. So padded practices are where this offensive line goes from talking the talk to walking the walk, and it starts on Monday with the padded practice. And they'll have a handful of them. The preseason games will be important, specifically the one against the Vikings and the Carolina Panthers, and those couple of joint practices, one ahead of the Panthers game, and then one ahead of the matchup with the Motor City Kitties when they visit the Detroit Lions. Those padded practices, those two joint practices, and then that Vikings and Carolina Panthers preseason games, that's where the eyes are really trained. That's where you get the magnifying glass out. I don't have a magnifying glass because I'm not over the age of 50 and use a crossword puzzle. Use it to do a crossword puzzle, but you get the gist. Just pretend there's a magnifying glass on the end of this. That's where you get the magnifying glass out. That's where you learn about this offensive line when the pads come on. I've been disappointed with Blake Fisher, but if he puts the pads on, turns into freaking Superman out there and starts blocking Will Anderson on a consistent basis, I'll eat my words. I'll be happy for Blake Fisher. If Ariante Ursary gets even meaner and bigger when the pads come on, so be it. If Cam Robinson's improved run blocking that he showcased a little bit last year showcases in the pads, that's going to be great for the Houston Texans. The pads are where they walk the walk. I like the way they've talked the talk. And then ultimately, at the conclusion of everything, they'll have to have five guys that they really like. That's not the focus now, but eventually they know they'll have their five guys, says Cole Popovich.
At some point, you're definitely going to have to do that. There's no doubt about that. This early in camp, that's really never been like the mode, because you really just don't know what these guys can do, especially right now. We're in a little bit of a unique situation where there's so many new faces in that room, and so just trying to get everybody reps so they can show what they can do, trying to move some guys around, like who works together well, who communicates together well. I mean, that's all part of it, but you're absolutely right. At some point, like, we will have, like, here's our 5, here's kind of the next guys in the game, and we'll have plenty of time to get that.
What say you? You're buying in this offensive line. You're still a little tepid. You just want to wait for the pads to come on. I certainly would understand that. Let me know in the comment section down below. On your way down there, throw me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out SNL with myself and Landry Locker from the Locker Room each and every weekday at 4 p.m., giving you everything that we saw at training camp. Of course, Houston football, where I do all my writing. And now, for the folks that watch till the end, here's a little special opportunity for you. I've got 2 tickets to the first padded practice Monday morning. Okay? I got 2 tickets to the first padded practice Monday morning. All right? I want you to answer this trivia question and send me an email with the answer. My email is in the description. Okay? My email is in the description of this video. Send me an email with the answer to this question. The first person that can go to training camp Monday morning will go with 2 tickets to training camp Monday morning if you can answer this trivia question. Ariante Ursary and Blake Fisher are really important pieces to the future of this offensive line. Where did Ariante Ursary go to college, and where did Blake Fisher go to college? Put in the title of your email, Houston football trivia answer, and then answer that question in the body of the email, and give me your phone number as well so I can reach out to you quickly and make sure you get those tickets. Okay? So, where did Blake Fisher and Ariante Ursary go to college? Which college did they each go to? In the title, Houston football trivia answer. And put your answer in the body, put your phone number in there. Whoever's first is going to get those tickets, and I will send them to your Ticketmaster account. I got 2 bonus ones, and we're benefiting the folks that watched till the end of the video. I know it's a long video. I know there's a lot of yapping, but if you watched all the yapping and you stayed till the end, you're going to have a chance to go to training camp. It's also a good test for me to see how many people watched till the end. And maybe I need to start putting more bonus things at the end. Appreciate you watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait until we talk Texans again soon.